Hello and welcome to the Black Cat Bushcraft channel. On our last video we talked about how to shoot an azimuth to something out on the horizon that we can see and travel to that, or how to travel on a known bearing into the forest or across the field or whatever to get to a destination. But once we've traveled out there, let's say that we need to get back, and if we can't visually see where we came from, we got to be able to take a back azimuth or a back bearing to return. Let's talk about that. It's very simple. We'll go through it step by step. So this little tag here on my nav course says that it's 197 degrees out to my next point. So I'm going to put my back to this tree and shoot the bearing of 197 on my compass. And when I do that, there's a tree that's absolutely dead on that bearing out here. I've got that tree in my eyesight. Let's go out to that tree. All right, so here we are at our first tag. This one reads 147 degrees. I pace counted out to this tag and it was about 115 meters approximately. And I'm right now navigating across an open field, so I can look back and easily see 115 meters back to the tree where I originally naved from. I can't actually see the tag that I came from, but I can see the tree. So right now, knowing a back bearing is not a big deal because I can use visual reference to get back where I came from. But let's say that we were navigating not 100 meters, but say 300 meters or 500 meters into dense vegetation or into the woods. At that point, it might not be so easy to turn around and figure out exactly where you came from. And so it's important to know a back bearing so that you can get back to where you started, or if you start to get lost, you know exactly which way to get back to where you came from, whether it be the outskirts of the woods or whether it be back to a known area in that woodland area, be it a camp or some type of a landmark that will help you get back out. So knowing a back bearing is a very important skill. Let's take a back bearing from here to where we came from. There's a couple of ways we can do that. The first and possibly the easiest method to determine your back azimuth or your return azimuth is simply looking at your compass. Per the compass course, my first tag said travel at 197 degrees to get to your second tag. So I set in 197 at 12 o'clock on my compass and sighted in to this tree where I found my second tag. If I simply look at the 6 o'clock position on my compass, that's going to be a perfect 180 degrees of where I came from. If I turn around 180 degrees, it's going to take me right back to where I came from. If I look down here at the 6 o'clock position, my compass reads 17 degrees. So all I have to do now is dial 17 back up here to the top, to the 12 o'clock position, and when I resight, it will return me to the exact position that I came from. So just going from 12 o'clock reading on your compass to 6 o'clock, you get that 180 degree perfect back bearing. So this is the tree that has the tag on it. With my back to that tree, I will sight that 17 degree azimuth with my compass, and I can see exactly where I came from, and this is carrying me directly to that point. Now, because I pace counted from my first tag to my second, I know exactly what direction to return to with this back azimuth, and I know exactly how far to travel to get to that last known position. So this way, not only do I know the right direction, but I know the right distance. That's why pace counting is important and why it will be the topic of the next video in this series. All right, the second way, and the way that I personally prefer to determine a back azimuth, is to do a simple mathematical equation. It works like this. If you're dealing with a reading that's less than 180 degrees, so 180 or less, you simply add 180 degrees to that, and that gives you your back bearing. If you're dealing with a number that's 180 up to 360, you subtract 180 degrees to determine your back azimuth or back bearing. I say azimuth and bearing because some people really want to hear the word bearing, and some people understand the word azimuth, which is technically correct from the best of my understanding. So I use both terms just as to make sure everybody's comfortable with the way I speak. But again, if it's 0 to 180, add 180. If it's 180 to 360, subtract 180. Now, what if it's 180? You can do whichever you prefer, because on your compass, 0 degrees and 360 is the same marking. It's dead north. So whether you add 180 to 180 and get 360, or you subtract 180 from 180 and get 0, it's going to put you at the same mark. So 180, it's either or. But understand, anything from 181 up, you subtract 180 for your back azimuth, and anything from 0 to 179, you add 180 to get that proper azimuth to return from where you just came from. It's very simple. All right, I'd like to thank you guys for taking the time to tune in for this quick video. I know this is a very basic concept. However, in my experience, the basics are the most important concepts to understand and to put into practice. So hopefully this will be helpful for you. Just remember this, if you can shoot an azimuth to get you out into the fields or into the woods, you gotta be able to shoot a back azimuth to get you back. It's just that simple. Thank you guys for your time and your interest. I look forward to talking to you with this next video on pace counting very soon. Until then, take care and God bless.